as our county, and indeed our world, moves toward new heights of human satisfaction through advancing technology, there will be those individuals who will be left behind by the sweeping waves of tomorrow. Lacking the resources needed to take advantage of the new tomorrow, the poor, the homeless, and the disadvantaged will make up an even larger subculture of America. What will happen to them in the year 2000? Caroline Morse of Dutchess Outreach.
Most of us who lead reasonably comfortable lives are screened from the problems of the poor, and people don't wear signs saying I'm hungry or I live in a roach-infested apartment that has no heat. Those things are not obvious, and most of us are not exposed to it.
Susan Denton from the Dutchess County Rural Preservation Corporation.
I think that in Dutchess County we have a problem, and the problem is that we're very prosperous, and most people wouldn't think of that as a problem. But we also have a significant part of our population that's very, very poor. And by poor, I mean living at or below the poverty level, which is roughly about $11,200 for a family of four. As of the 1980 census, there were 16,801 people living in poverty in Dutchess County. In the nation as a whole, poverty has been increasing, and we can't believe that it has escaped us entirely.
Well, I think it's something that we who work on it have to continue to develop an awareness of that, not only for the service of the people who have those needs, and for the support of this program. There has to be an awareness in order for us to do something about it.
'Tis great, God is good. He guards your neighborhood.
James Miller Sr. of Dutchess County Community Action Agency.
Who are the poor, low income? Basically women, single with children, the elderly. So you have this group of people that are constantly revolving because people go into poverty and they go out of poverty. The average stay in terms of poverty for most people is 18 months. If you are single and you are a mother with children, more than likely you're going to stay a bit longer.
A lot of people who are poor are single parents and children. 35% of the poor in Dutchess County are children. 86% of the people on food stamps are children in female-headed households. So there are people who may have lived here all their lives, but their circumstances have changed radically for one reason or another: separation or death of a breadwinner, the fact that women still earn less money than men, things like that. So voting with your feet or going back from where you came from is kind of almost a silly thing for people to say.
Approximately 3 to 4% of this population in Dutchess County, which falls in the category of being poor. At this point, we know that this group of people is growing.
Judith Pio, Acting Director of Case Management for Dutchess County Department of Mental Hygiene.
We work with many deinstitutionalized patients in the community. This county has discharged patients from Harlem Valley Psychiatric Center and Hudson River Psychiatric Center, and many of these people were not initially Dutchess County residents. So we have one of the largest populations of deinstitutionalized patients in the whole United States that are receiving services in Dutchess County.
So you're not just seeing the usual process in terms of who's a homeless now, someone who is a derelict, who has an alcoholic problem, who's a drifter, but you're seeing intact families being displaced because they cannot deal with the high cost of rents or housing in general, because there is a tremendous amount of rural poverty in the county. Mm-hmm. It's invisible because of the geographical setting, but it's there. there is hunger in Dutchess County among all this affluence, okay? But it is hidden by nature.
Housing costs in Dutchess County have escalated in the past decades to the point where it is nearly impossible for low and even middle-income families to afford a place to live. In fact, many go hungry as they struggle to pay their rent.
People get pushed against the wall. They pay their housing costs at the expense of a lot of other things like food, which tends to become discretionary, a discretionary item after a while. They may end up losing their homes. When they lose their homes, they look for another place to live or they move in with other people. The New York Times recently had an article in which they coined the term couch people. I mean, it's almost like, it's kind of a derogatory term in a way, but it's the people who are living with their relatives, who have blended their families together, who are staying in one place temporarily and then move on to another place. I think we're going to be seeing more of that. It's already happening. Also, when people lose their homes, they sometimes move into, there's one shelter in Dutchess County, Gannett House, where they can stay for a limited period of time where they're looking for another place to stay, or they may be placed in a motel. And traditionally, this is thought to be temporary and emergency housing, but in fact, for many people, it's becoming a chronic emergency.
In this county, the average rents for a two-bedroom apartment has moved from $545 a month to like $700 a month, okay, in the past year. One bedroom now is going for $475. What is happening is that because of the high standard of living in the county, the poor are being pushed out of apartment buildings because landlords know that I don't have to settle for $465 a month for an example, a two-bedroom. I can fix it up and I can rent to the affluent. I don't have to deal with all this red tape and all the wear and tear on my building.
And my feeling about the year 2000 is that unless we take a serious look at our social policy here, what we're going to do is gentrify the entire area. We're going to ship our poor people away, and we're going to be a poor community in spirit for doing that.
The Physician Task Force on Hunger in America states, we face the paradox that as hunger in America increases, food stamp coverage is going down. The question is why? Why, at a time in which hunger has made a drastic reappearance in America, is the nation's most important program failing to reach so many people for whom it is intended?
On a daily basis, we run into the problem of lack of food. People come to us looking for food, and usually that's just the tip of the iceberg. When somebody's out of food, there are all kinds of reasons behind it. And we also do a fair amount of advocacy and referral. When people are having trouble with food, our efforts are unraveling their situation and trying to straighten it out on a more basic level in addition to just giving the food. The food is temporary. We try to solve the situation behind it to the best of our ability. I think there will be a continuing need for this program. The program was started in '74 and each year has grown in the number of clients served. All of our programs are up this year in terms of the percentage of the number of people served over last year. Last year they were up over the year before.
We spoke to Nadine Lewis, Program Coordinator for the Catherine Street Community Center in the city of Poughkeepsie.
Well, basically, the future for the children, I think, lies heavily on the present actions of the adults. Like I said, this center and all of the centers around here need more community support.
What we know up in the northern section of the county is that because of the impact of the affluent, people are now moving into Columbia County. People has gone as far as they can go, and they're being priced out of the market. So a lot of people are moving into Columbia County. If you are on the Taconic Parkway, Friday around 3 o'clock, you will see that there's no hiding place for the low income because the stream of BMWs and Jags that are going down the Taconic get off at the exit that says Hudson. Okay, so where Hudson and other areas in Columbia County were very reasonable, people come as far away from New Jersey, New York City, and Connecticut, and they're now buying up property and really doing the gentrification thing there too. So low income are just going to be trapped, and the federal government is going to have to get back into the business of subsidizing housing.
So you're optimistic about the future?
I'm optimistic about some things. I'm optimistic that there'll be more housing. I'm optimistic that we're making strides in the direction of bringing more food to people in Dutchess County. On a nationwide basis, I think that the next election will show us what the mood of the country really is in terms of helping people.
While we're sitting, we talk.